Hello, everybody. Today we have Patti Sampson with us today. She's with Engage More Pro. She also has a real estate background on there and does a lot of real estate. So this is a prime opportunity to learn about CRMs. And if you're like me, it's like, okay, I know they're there and they say that they're good, but how, what do we look for? How can we use this? What are some things that's really going to help us to be more efficient and productive, because we know that y'all as realtors, me as a lender, there's a lot of our time that's being taken up. Patty's just going to give us a lot of great information. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. Also, we're recording this as well, and we will be getting information out that way, because I know, like in Facebook groups and stuff, we see questions all the time about what's the best CRM? There's going to be a lot
Which
that goes
CRM
into
should I
that.
use? Why are you using one? Yeah,
So, Patty,
it's like every day.
yes.
Well, first let me tell you who I am. You're probably going, who is this woman? I live in Arizona. I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. I've been a real estate broker. Well, almost the entire time I've been a realtor. In Arizona, we just have to get our license and we can wait 3 years and get our brokerage license. But so what I've done mostly of my career is basically help myself to close more sales through automation, because most of my business has come from online internet leads. So when I first started, I worked for a company. It was a proprietary CRM that they had. So I had just come out of a 17-year legal career and could type fast. So I was lucky in that regard. Although my first 3 deals fell out of contract because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But we're all in that boat. We all have to start somewhere. So I started working for a company who was giving us about anywhere between 50 to 150 leads a month. It really was dependent on how many people were, moving and leaving the brokerage, because then they would toss all these leads off to everybody else. And so I had to figure out a way to be able to stay in front of all these leads. And I didn't know, how I was going to do that, because the way they set up, they wanted us to manually touch everybody, which meant we either had to pick up the phone and make a note in the system, or manually send an email. Because back then we didn't really have the automation set up as much as we do these days in most of the CRMs out there. So anyway, that's how I got started. So once I started working those leads and figuring out a way to automate, and I did my automation, believe it or not, back then, I found a software tool that allowed me to record the screen movements. So I would turn that puppy on at nighttime and it would record where I was going on the screen. So I could communicate with people that way. And I couldn't believe I was able to do that, but I was so into this automation part of it. But what I did is I put everybody into like a code, like everybody got a number, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it was. So a new lead would come in and I'd give them a 1 if they got the first email. Then I knew that I had to wait a certain amount of time to give them send the second thing out. So you always just assume everybody who's in your new database, anybody who comes into your database, is a new prospect you're just trying to get to talk to you. I mean, that's really what it boiled down to. Anyway, so I proceeded my first year after I started with that company. I sold 42 homes by myself, working those leads, not really knowing necessarily what I was doing initially. But boy, I figured out a way to be in 2 places at once. And I had 2 teenage boys at home and a single mom. Doing fully commission after seriously just quitting a full-time position as a paralegal, and just everyone thought I was crazy, but I knew I had to make it. So I was fortunate enough to make it work. The only problem is the company I worked for required that we gave 20% back of our commission toward closing costs. That was how we kind of got people to work with us quite often, because everybody wanted that deal. So when you sell 42 homes a year and you only make, by the time it was said and done, I think I brought home about 35%. But boy, did I learn to do real estate, right? In 120-degree heat in Arizona. So anyway, so cut to today. I've been all up and down the CRM and the online leads thing. The majority of my leads I have received through the years has been from the internet. And I talk about that because it is they are some of the hardest leads to convert because people don't know us, right? So what are we doing to stay in front of these people and instill trust, get them to talk to us, make sure that we have our automations in place so we can be in 2 places at once, right? So that's kind of how I got started. I think it's important that everybody kind of know that, because I started just like the rest of you, and I still do. I mean, every single day it's a moving target, right? So, but I think the key is that we understand if the question is what CRM or, should we use, because we're seeing that all over the place. What CRM you're using? I mean, if you're in any of these groups, just like you said, Don, you're seeing it every single day, at least once or twice. And I'm not sure why everyone's not reading all the posts in there. Why are they, and everybody, it's just always the same people chiming in too.
And it's not, and that's such a generalized question.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into it.
It's ridiculous, the question, actually. I think it's one of my pet peeves, to be honest with you, because if you think about it, like I just said, I did mostly, and I still do. I mean, I've worked hundreds of thousands of internet leads between the real estate side of my business and the consulting side of my business for real estate agents. I've got agent leads coming in often. I don't understand why someone would just say, what's the best CRM out there? Because what I do working internet leads is 10 times different than what somebody else might be doing working their network, or referral business or knocking at doors. So what that means is the tools that you need or that were important to me versus you or somebody else could be totally different, so, and inside of the CRMs, there's different things that each CRM will do. Many of them do very similar things, but do I care about a dialer? No, never have. No, I've never liked them, don't like them to this day. I wouldn't, but if somebody said to me, I need a CRM that integrates or has a dialer, okay, great, I'll refer you to one, or you can integrate with one, right? So, but that question is ridiculous, because I think our biggest problem is we don't know what the CRM can do, and we don't know how that CRM and all the things it does can help us with our business outside of just sending automated emails and texts, right? So, and there's so many things it can do for us, especially today in the AI world,
So what are those questions that we need to ask ourselves when saying, what is the best CRM for me and
Love
what
that.
I'm wanting to do?
Great question. Right. So that first thing is, and it's the easiest thing ever, is to sit there and think about what keeps you up at night. It's as simple as that.
You said that's the easiest thing. It's just like there's enough things keeping me up at night.
There's a million things that keep you up at night. How can we make those things? How can we make get our CRM to help us with that, right? And so for me, so you guys know, maybe you don't know, but I wrote a book about this past year. It's on Amazon, but you can go to Drip Campaign Secrets. There's actually a whole chapter in here about choosing the best CRM for your real estate business. And so what I first do, and I got to put my glasses on because I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I am just going to skim over it so I don't forget. The first thing is you want to ask yourself some questions, right? You need to really understand what it is that you need to help you with your business. If you're, like I just said, if you're working internet leads, well, the first thing I know if I'm working internet leads is I need to know that thing can integrate and have those leads dump into my system, because we all know that the sooner that we communicate with the lead, the better chance we have of converting it. And being the agent for that person. And so what is it? NAR says 66% of people will work with the agent who responds first. Well, they also say that 48% of agents don't even respond to their leads. And so so if you're brand new to this business, then what's the easiest thing you could do is just respond to your stinking leads, because you don't even need to, they'd be so happy to hear from you, right? So, and why don't we respond to our leads? Well, now we're overwhelmed. We're too busy. We claim we're too busy running around doing everything else. And we need to get it automated. I mean, and some people will poo-poo that, but I'm telling you now that I have sold so much real estate as a result of my automations that look like I actually meant to send it. I can't, I wouldn't have been able to do my business working all those leads, just couldn't have
Absolutely.
been able to do it.
And whether it's automated or the previous Zoom I did this last week, he was saying that he sits down every week. He has his big goals and everything, but he sits down every week and blocks out his time for the week on there. So if it's a response time, if it's time to work on the CRM to make sure certain things are done and people are being responded to, that is something that needs to be on the calendar that you have
to
plan for.
You have to plan for it. I always tell everybody, if you should be able to go, if you're managing your database correctly, and I could go on for hours about that, but I do in the book. If you're managing it, then you should be able to easily come in and in 30 minutes figure out, who do I need to communicate with today? So there, and I guess maybe what we have to do is just make sure that we understand exactly what a CRM is. CRM is really there to help you manage your business. And I think the struggle I have with that is that I keep hearing, I want the cheapest thing. I want to use my brokers because my brokers is the cheapest thing and it's included. And that's all fine and dandy. But the bottom line is you have to ask yourself, whatever CRM you're using or trying to use, are you selling more real estate as a result of it? Because if you're not, it's not working for you. One way or the other, it's either because you don't know how to use it, you've never learned it, your broker doesn't know how to teach you, because they don't. I'm telling you, they don't. They'll say, oh, go get one, or use the company one, and then good luck to you. And they'll push you out in the ocean and say, good luck getting back to shore, because they don't know what's going on with it either. And so it's really a challenge.
Generally at least one extra sale is going to pay for that. Everything above that.
Hello. Yeah. And so when I hear I want the cheapest, I don't want to pay for it. Do you realize that your CRM is the absolute most important tool that you have in your trunk? Honestly, it's more important than anything that you can be using, because especially if you're starting out in this business, if you start loading up now, if I had from the day one when I started, I didn't have a CRM initially. And it wasn't until I was about 6-8 months into it that I realized, oh, I know what one is now. But you have to have this in order to manage your business. I can't get over the number of agents I speak to, however, who do work off of Excel spreadsheets or their whiteboards. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when I hear they're selling 20 million in real estate a year, I think, God, I actually get the chills thinking, how can I help them sell double, triple that? Because if they're that good off of an Excel spreadsheet, can you imagine? They're still, I guarantee it, they're still at night, up at night, worrying about missing a lead or maybe a deadline on something, right? So that's a key, because you can put your deadlines in there and warn yourself so you don't miss anything, right? There's so much we have to do as agents. We're all over the place. And you need this to help you kind of wrap your brain around everything that you have to do. And if you didn't have this, there'd just be no way. I just don't see how anyone does it, honestly. But I've been doing it this way my whole business career.
So are most CRMs have the flexibility that if you get one, if you start off with one, and I know yours, you seem to have to where you can integrate different things as needed, as you decide what's good for you, not. What about other CRMs? I think some do, some might not. I'm not sure.
All CRMs will do very similar things for the most part. But I think, what do you need it to do mostly? Gosh, I could just sit here and read this entire book, because it's exactly what I sat down and wrote about. And you just got to make sure that you understand exactly all the stuff it can do. So let me just run down a few things real quick without reading them. So you have an idea. Let's see, digitally house and manage all the people you want, right? So here on that note, I don't think you need 14 different CRMs. And so that's another thing I hear. I'm going to use my Buffini CRM to send my newsletters. And I'm not going to put anybody, that I'm really working with in my other CRM. I'm going to have 10 different CRMs or 3 different ones. And I think to myself, why? And if you're a team leader and you're managing your real estate agents, or you're trying to, or you're a broker and you're trying to recruit, everything can be done in one CRM. It's all a matter of how you bucketize and set up your CRM so that you can easily run one search that you saved, by the way, and just go click on it, and we'll pull these people up at different stages where they're at in the process. So one is digitally housing everything. It can include pre-written real estate drip campaigns, which is what this book is about a lot. But without a CRM, this book doesn't do anything, right? So you need to get that whole basis down on, how do you set that up first? And you need to have a tool to be able to do it with, right? So the drip campaigns is the automatic templates that send out that are pre-built. So every time a new lead comes in, it'll drip out in a sequence that you set up ahead of time, which is what I do. I sell and I consult with agents over. And outside of my own CRM, which I also sell, you can just buy my campaigns that'll build. And it's the same stuff I use in my own successful real estate. So there's that. So you need like a library of that kind of stuff. And you also need a library of responsive templates. So if you're talking to people and they say the same thing to you, or they ask you the same thing, there's no reason you should reinvent a wheel. You should have the thing, automatically. You have templates pre-built in there that you can just pop out, right? My new system has snippets in it, so I can build one sentence and just plug it into things here and there, right? Obviously, you want the thing to give you reminders, right? Ability to manage and track all the steps of your open escrows if that's what you want. Now, I don't normally do that in my personal business. Our system, our CRM does that, but I don't do it because my brokerage requires it. So you have to decide if you want to put them in both places. I like tracking how well my sales do because that tells me a lot about my lead sources. How well did my lead sources perform over the past year? So if I could go in and every lead that comes in, I know exactly where it came from because they signed up on whatever it was. And my system automatically loads that information in for me with the minute that they come in. I just know because of the integration. I also like using it for holiday templates too, which we have holiday video stuff that we send out 5 years worth for every holiday. So that can be done. And that's a great way to stay in touch with people. We send 2 texts out a year and email on all the majors, like 15, 16 major US holidays and I also have them for Canada. So we just make sure that you're staying in front of them. So it doesn't talk about real estate. It's just, hey, I'm just checking in. Their birthdays, right? 10 years of birthday templates. One thing a year. I mean, how hard is that? 1 email, 1 text a year. It's easy, right? And you just have it set up and it turns on. As soon as you know their birth date, you put it in the system and it just flips on and goes and starts to send it. And it doesn't stop until you go in and shut it off. So just keeps going. The email template. So the key is templates, right? So you want to be able to personalize these things. So the system, almost all these systems have merged fields in them so that you can actually put the field of the first name person, like the first name field in, your signature, the area that you may work. It just does it automatically, right? And so it makes it way more personalized and it doesn't seem so canned, which is a big, big complaint that a lot of CRMs have or that people complain about other CRMs that are out there. That's the difference in what I do is that I built my entire system around my campaigns. We build them into other systems because people don't want to move. And I get that. You love your Lofty or you love your Brivity or whatever CRM you're in, but we'll build them into anything. But for me, I just want to make sure that I've got templates that I can just automatically and not have to go in there and type up if I don't have to, because I'm lazy. I'm a real lazy agent. That's how I got here, because I'm really lazy. My laziness, this is what I said in the book, my laziness made me efficient and my efficiency made me money. So.
Yeah. One thing as far as templates, y'all, I know sometimes I'll try out, do different things and then I'll hit on something that is like, okay, that sounds great. I love how that works on there, but then I'll forget about.
Then you'll forget about it. Well, I'll tell you, one of the best things you can do as far as creating content for yourself is just hacking what other people have done. So if you're getting an email from somebody and you get tricked into opening it and you think it's something really important, hey, take that thing and hack it for your real estate. I did that and did some of the best templates I've ever written have been stuff that tricked me into opening, right? And so then I'm like, good job. Wow. You did it, right? And so I'll take it. And one of the examples I got, because I love to travel. In fact, we cruise probably 3 times a year. And I got this email, this was years ago, It said, are you still interested in getting cruise information? So anytime you're going to threaten to get shut off, you're going to respond, right? So I opened it up, I'm like, oh shit, they got me, And so I wrote a template that said, do you still want Scottsdale area home listings? That's what the subject line said, right? So of course it got opened because people thought they were going to get kicked off, right? So even though they may not respond to you, I mean, I got a whole class on this, but even though they may not respond to you, they are still looking at what you're sending. And you need to know that. That's the other thing. Your CRM should be able to tell you that. But I mean, I could go on for hours about what your CRM can do for you. But I think for me, the most important things, obviously, is sending out the automations, making sure that it's happening the minute the lead comes in, things start happening. And part of what else the CRM is going to do is not have a lead come in and have me have to go in there and manually put in a source, a tag, a reminder, a whatever it is, a contact type, because I need to know if it's a buyer or a seller, right, when it comes in. And if I don't know, I need to get to the bottom of that right away so that I'm sending out the right content, right? So that automation is so key for getting it in and you can have your workflow, which is what I call them now, set up all these different things, and it'll send out a notice to me. It'll tell me somebody came in. It'll turn on a automated listings so that listings go out, and then it starts to communicate with it for over a year,
Well,
so
let me ask you this on automation of that being integrated into your database. There's, I have a company called Open Houses USA, and you see things on there, but these agents, one of the things they do, of course, have the sign-in sheets and stuff for Open Houses USA. Well, if it's capturing information, can it capture that and automatically
oh
add it to the
baby,
data?
hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. So it's a landing page, right? Our software, many of them do now have opt-in landing pages. So you can make your own form inside of most of our CRMs, and ours has it, where you have a form, it's a lead capture form. And I don't even have them touch it, right? I mean, I wouldn't even have them touch anything. I let them use their own stinking phone to do this, right? So we have a landing page and we'll put it on the door with a QR code and or the URL. If people don't know how to use QR codes, because you never know who's coming in and they don't know what's going on half the time. My husband, we were trying to set up a Super Bowl party last week, a couple of weeks ago. It started a couple of weeks ago, and I refused to go to Evite and use their software. So I said, screw it, I'm just going to build it up in here. So I built a landing page and I put a big QR code and gave it to my husband, and he takes it to his golf group and he says, these guys don't know how to use it. I'm like, oh my God. So I had to put the URL in, and even that they didn't know how to use. So you have to keep in mind who's your audience going to be if you're going to do this stuff, right? So
Absolutely.
anyway, put the QR code on the door and say, for safety purposes and the requirements of the seller, we need you to register. So how cool is it when they're filling out a landing page, when they come in the door, and they've already filled it out before they walked in? Or you could put it on the table if you want. And the minute they come in, the thing is turning on. Now, I set my campaign so that a text goes out about 30 to 45 minutes later. It's a video of me that I had taken ahead of time. And before they came in wearing whatever it was I was wearing, and just saying, thank you for visiting me at the open house. I look forward to assisting you, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so it's in the emails and the text going out that is automated. The minute they sign up, I don't touch anything. So I don't have to take this piece of paper home and load it in by manually, because you're not going to do it. And if you do, you're like hitting your head against the wall by the time you get home because you're exhausted. It's like the last thing you want to do when you get home,
Exactly. Oh, I mean, and that's
Now,
could be
the other
applicable towards so many different things on there. I know I'm coming up with an event where it could be potentially hundreds that register. And I want to make that as simple as possible
I'm telling you
and not
right
have to do
now,
the work
you would
myself.
not have to lift a finger, right? So I'll tell you what I suggest everybody does is that you have a really good, strong buyer and seller campaign, right? And you can take that campaign and clone it. And if for an open house kind of thing, you don't really even have to clone it, because you figure when the campaign goes on. So my campaign's a year long, is about 35 pieces in it for a buyer, right? They're going to get an email and a text. But the other thing they're going to get is an automated listing notification, because you better be sending listings on top of that. In my system, you can either set it up, if it depends on the CRM you're in and if you have a website that integrates with it. But like for Lofty, for instance, or Chime, we have a lot of Lofty people users now that are coming from KV Core and from my brokerage at Real. Is that you can actually go in there ahead of time. So I know I'm sitting this open house at 123 Main Street, and I know the price, and I know the subdivision, and I know the area. So I'll go in and I'll set up a pre-saved kind of subscription search type thing, and then I add that to the campaign. So you can actually add that so that it will send them back to your website to look at listings. So it's automated, because I know exactly the house that I'm sitting. So I'm going to put similar properties in there, because 99.99 times they're not going to buy that house they come into, right? You're just using it for lead gen. So, but you want to make sure they're getting stuff they care they care about, right? Not just crap, bull, junk that's in these CRMs. So I'll go ahead of time and create my templates, and my templates are already built because it's a good, strong buyer campaign. Because let's face it, after the first week, they're all buyers, right? And they're all going to be, who cares how you got them after the first week or two? So that first email, every time, let's say I sit a different open house every single week, right? All I'm going to do is go in and change that first letter and first text out. First letter, maybe the first two, three things. That's it. Because after those get sent, next week, the new people they're never going to see it. The people that came in past year, I'm going to go in and edit the templates again. But the people already got the first 2 or 3 templates. So I don't worry about them. The campaign's running for the rest of it's running for them. Does that make sense? Right?
Yeah. So what you're looking at, so what you're looking at is, one, just getting things set up. Now that could probably, take a little time to
Well, that's what we
initially get
do.
the
If you need help,
yeah,
that's what we do. But
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, okay. So, but then as far as you can enter the information in manually or capture through your different events,
Better not enter manually. I'll slap you upside the head. There's no reason for that.
Thank you.
But
Thank
you
you.
can if you want to. Yeah.
It was just an option. But then it is, you have kind of maybe that initial template that goes out, that initial thing that goes out, that's
Right.
maybe customized for that situation. But
For
then
that, exactly.
from there, that kind of goes into other things that you go out. But you're already, generally, a lot of agents are already doing social media posts. They're already doing certain other things. Well, if you're doing, it's just something else that, you're doing, and it's easy, but it's going out to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, literally, if I was going to sit an open house or any event, like if you're going to sit at an event you got coming up to promote your mortgage business, and you're going to, or whatever it is, you're going to have a template that's going to be a landing page for one. And then the second thing is going to be your campaign, right? And if you have those things set up, every time you do these, you're just cloning or just editing those things as needed. You're not having to reinvent a whole wheel. You just got a good solid page so that people will use. So we have buyer guide template, buyer guide landing pages. We have seller guide landing pages. So, and then we actually have the guides, and then they're already built to go out. So I don't need to go in there and say, oh, I mean, you got to have a lead magnet in order to get people to give you their information. And then that's the setup. So in this case, the lead magnet is the house that you're sitting, right? So you're doing an open house. That's the lead magnet, right? So they're coming in and you're collecting it, and you're not lifting a finger. And then it's just loading and it's doing its thing. And then you make a call. Yes, you should call. If people give you a phone number, by the way, friends, I mean, here's the thing. You won't know if it's not good. You won't know if they won't pick it up. But here's the thing. If you start with a quick text saying, hey, I just met you at the open house. Are you free for a quick call? I wanted to let you know about another property that I think might work for you. You got to always get them engaged with you to try to get them to respond to you. And this is all pre-set up stuff. I mean, I don't reinvent this every week. I just don't. Who's got time for that? I don't.
That's a lot of, real estate power right there to be
Yes.
able to, you're doing those things and you're also being, now have the free time to do whatever else
Well,
that you
yeah,
need to do.
the things that are important, which is actually being able to go out and go to appointments, right? And you're out running around, but the thing's doing its thing at night, right? Or during the day while you're out running around, and you're not there having to manually do all this. You're just trying to get them to talk to you, right? And so that's the big key. Now, after that, what you want to be watching for is, what are they doing? Are they engaging with what you're sending? Are they opening? Are they clicking? Are they looking at properties that you're sending? And they can't do any of that. And so, all of this stuff you're doing, believe it or not, is not so much for the benefit of the consumer, but it's as much as important for them as it is for you. Because now, how you're saying earlier, if you had time to do some prospecting, you should every day, you're going to focus on the people that are showing interest in what you're sending. And that is by identifying the activity. If our CRM can actually keep track of how long someone watched a video. So if you're doing any video work, all of these things need to be repurposed, right? You're putting them on your YouTube and your TikTok, put them in your emails too. Even if you have templates that don't really relate, just stick them in there anyway. Who cares? Just say, I have a special video I want you to watch. They don't need to know. Who cares if it doesn't match what the email says necessarily? Now, if it did, that would be great. But have something that's evergreen, which means it's not like, oh, I'm just going to talk about this listing and then next week I got to go trade it out. You're not going to do that in your templates unless you want to let everybody know about that listing, which is a different type of template. But these things, if you're doing educational stuff, that's the problem, is that we send out crap from the start and then they are going to turn a blind eye to everything else we send subsequent to that, because that was junk what you sent. And a call to action, by the way, is not, let me know when you're ready. That is not a call to action. A call to action is a flat out question, and it should be open-ended so you can get them to respond, right? I get the
I
best
love,
response off of my re-engagement templates because we're asking some very important questions and they usually will respond either to get me to go away or tell me where they're at. They'll vomit up
yeah,
everything, right?
stop.
So I don't care. I
Yeah,
don't care.
I,
I got better things to do. I got better leads to talk to. And I'm glad you told me to stop. That's awesome. Thank you. I didn't say
yeah,
that, but no
yeah,
problem,
absolutely. Absolutely. But this is, I take a look at CRMs are probably a key part of your systems on there to be able to do everything. You may want to do other things as well, but you have to have, I like to put things in the way of what is a foundation for VA loans. Hey, the foundation is a certificate of eligibility. Without that, we don't have anything.
right.
In the real estate industry, realtors, lenders, a CRM is a foundation. Now, you may start off one way and have to tweak and everything, but you learn as you
Always.
go. Like
Yeah.
anything, you learn as you go and you tweak and what else you need to integrate. I need to do this. Okay, I'm not using this. That's fine. You do that, but you've got that foundation that you can build a great, not just a single family home, but a nice mansion on.
Exactly. I mean, there is absolutely no reason why once you get something set up that you just can't be using it for everything that you can. And everyone thinks, oh my God, I don't have time and all that. But here's the thing: if you set aside the time or have us do it, it'll save you a ton later. And how much more can you close? So my goal for everybody is to, I mean, what if we were to help you just get one more deal a month out of your existing database and not necessarily be we're going out and doing more lead generation if you don't have to. If you got a big fat blob of humanity sitting in your CRM and you come in every day and you're trying to go down it alphabetically, that's a big huge mistake. That's why I want to see you guys being able to focus on who's interacting with what you're sending. And that's never going to happen unless you send decent stuff. And that if everyone's opting out, and they will, and that's fine. Again, go opt out all day long. I just want to focus on the people who are really interested in what's going on. So you need to be checking your website to see what are they doing. If you have the ability to get into the back end, you want to make sure that you're going in there and actually, tracking that stuff, because if you do, you're going to be able to focus on them a lot better, right? And spend more time with those folks,
And
knowing
it's
what
all
they're
with that,
doing.
it's all with the first step of one, research, but get the CRM. Here's a question as we look at wrapping this up here. What does the letters CRM stand for?
Good question. We should have brought that up initially. It's customer relationship management. So
Relationship.
yeah,
Relationship.
exactly. So what
That's
that means, what are we doing to create a relationship? I saw a post in one of the groups the other day saying, I don't understand what a CRM is. Everyone talks about it. Why am I having one? Why do I need it? I don't even know, and all I could think was, oh my God, that's what I wrote this book about, and it's exactly why I wrote it, because the confusion about why you need one and then the best way to set it up so that it's going to work for you is just kind of, it's sad because we're not taught this stuff. Our most of our brokers don't understand it. They just know you need one, and they are usually high. I talk to a lot of brokers saying, I need you to, in fact, I got a guy who's paying me to set up his brokerage of 12,000 agents. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do it. We can get you set up so that everybody knows it's preset, right? So they don't have to mess with it, but you just got to get it set up. And
and
that's
definitely,
the tough part.
and if you want to give one of the good ones here, reach out to Patti at
Yeah.
engagemorepro.com. She has her book as well that can assist.
Yeah. So you can go to
information.
engagemorepro.com. So let me just give you a little background. I opened up the doors to my own CRM. And really what we did is I found some CRM software tools out there that it took me a year to get it fully integrated into what I wanted. We have over 30 different drip campaigns pre-built for all different types of businesses. And so if you're looking for a new one, I would definitely be having you guys look there. Now, we shut the doors in the fall when we're upgrading the software tools. And so we are just getting ready to open them back up, which would also include the IDX website as an option if you want that. So the difference is that I'm a coach who happens to have software. I'm not a technology. I am kind of geeky when it comes to that, but I'm not the one creating it, just so you know.
Yeah.
And so but we also help people in any CRM. So if it's something you don't want to move, because I get it's not fun, it's like moving out of your house. We can build your campaigns in it. I did want to give an offer too, if somebody's interested. So you can go to realestateDripMail.com. Maybe you want to put it in the chat, realestateDripMail.com. And I'm actually going to give you guys a coupon if you're interested for us to build them for you. Let me tell you what the coupon is. You have two choices when you go to realestateDripMail.com, and you can go and you can buy them in a Word version, and then we give you a video for most of the CRMs out there. In fact, I have videos for pretty much everything that most everybody's using. It's like a 30-minute video if you want to build them yourself. And then the other option is for us to build them for you. So if you want us to build them for you, which most people are doing these days because they just don't want to mess with it. They don't want to deal with it, and we can get it done in a second. So if you go to the link that says, build them for me, the coupon code for that is $50 off. And it's real, REAL 50. And that's for if you get over 6 campaigns. So we have campaigns for different statuses. And before I go, I just want to say one really good tip, couple things, really good tip. Number one is if you are, if you're trying to figure out which campaigns to put on, there's 2 things you need to know about every single lead at the very minimum. So you need to go clean your database up yet. So the first thing is you need to know the contact type. I usually say, what kind of human are they? Are they a buyer or a seller? And then the second thing that you want to know is where are they in the sales process? Because if they're closed, you don't want to be sending them a campaign that says, how's your drip, how's your home search coming along, right? So those 2 really important things, you need to go in and clean up your database. Everyone has contact types and statuses, most of us in our CRMs. And if you don't know, because you've never tracked all this, the easiest thing you could do is just go into your account, go to your title company, or go somewhere where you have a list of all of your closings, and just make sure you set everyone up who's closed. And then just assume everyone else, if you haven't done a good job at this, are in a prospecting mode, right? And so they're going to need something from you, whether it be like a monthly sphere campaign, I'm not the biggest fan of newsletters because I think newsletters can tend to get just kind of junky unless you're going to really spend time with those monthly. Monthly sphere type template you can send out, which we have, or holiday campaigns, just to stay in front. You just want to remind people that you're an agent, right? So that when they need one, because our problem is we think every lead sucks if they don't call us right away. The bottom line is we don't know what their background is. We don't know why they're looking. If they're coming in online, for sure we don't know. So it could be looking for their cousin, sister's, brother's aunt who's might be moving to town, right? And so you have to not assume anything, right, about these leads. But
Absolutely.
so go to realestateDripmail.com. If you're looking for a new a CRM, we are getting ready to open the doors and you can come in for a demo. It's engagemorepro.com. And we are going to be, I'm hoping to get the demo. One of the things I'm planning on doing in the demo is not going through technology. I'm going through the what this CRM can do for you to help you. And you have got to tune in because I've got a brand new, I really hope this all works because I'm in the process of getting it tested right now, but the AI responding is absolutely magnificent in here. It works like a dream. I tried to trick it up, couldn't trick it up. We built this thing, like, I'm so excited. And so for me, it's a game changer, absolute game changer. So that's one, and it's optional. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, but it's absolutely optional for chat widgets, for website, so we have the whole shebang because I'm really tired of listening to people whine and moan about their CRMs because they, number one, don't know how to use them, or the software stinks, or they're just junky, and they're not understanding the importance of using the thing, right? And so we're gonna, and I train twice a week live. So that's the other thing. I'm a coach with CRM. So Mondays, in fact, in an hour, I'm live with my group, and they come in a Zoom, and I answer anything you want, for your monthly fee. It's minimal, So
absolutely, and that's the thing. Don't let this world of CRMs be daunting to you. It seems like it, but you got to start somewhere, and you do that. If nothing else, if you want, I know previously when I had something, it's like I didn't care about what the past was on there. Let me start from here and do that. However you need to frame it, you just need to do. But you can always, as you start getting familiar with it, then add in the past on there.
Well, yeah, and so that's like my biggest tip when we bring new people into the system. We want you to not get overwhelmed by bringing 10,000 leads in here that are 20 years old. We want you to start with the most fresh leads that you have over the last 2 years, and then from there, even if it's just a couple hundred, just to get started so that you understand and you're not getting overwhelmed. Because if you have to sit there and you think to yourself, I got to clean my database up before I do anything, you will never do it. You guys, you just never do it. So start with, if you could just pull all those leads that you just got off that Facebook ad or whatever it is you did, that open house, every open house you did over the last month or a couple of years, bring them in and let's find out if they're still alive. I mean, and again, this is in your own CRM or in ours. You just let's find out if they're alive, right?
So and that's what you're doing, is you're letting them know that you're alive.
That is exactly it. And then there's somewhat of an apology too, if you wanted to say, hey, I've not been so good at this, but things are better now because of the market or because of COVID. I mean, come up with, who cares if everybody knows the last few years have been kind of weird, so they're not gonna, why is this person coming out of the woodwork all of a sudden? Who cares? Oh, don't overthink it, you guys. You're just overthinking it and then nothing gets done. It just doesn't. How easy would it be to just take 50 of your leads and just get some action off of those and see if anybody is still interested? It's so easy. I say it's easy for me, but I understand. Yeah. Well, consistency is huge for sure.
Absolutely.
But anyway, we can come back because we did talk about me coming back and doing.
Absolutely.
I have a training that I'm doing for my brokerage. We just surpassed, I think, 20,000 agents in my brokerage. It's kind of surprising. I heard the other day. But anyway, I trained for my brokerage, and so I'm doing a training called the life cycle of a lead magnet. And I'll probably go and redo this again, and I'll do it in my public group. By the way, if any of you aren't in my group, go to my Facebook, CRM and Drip Campaign Mastery. I have a free group in Facebook, so you can hear when I'm going to probably do that class again. I'm just trying to get it freshened up for them.
What was that Facebook group again?
CRM and drip campaign mastery. Could I
Okay.
please have a memo? I'm not quite sure what that means. Can you please have a memo? Anybody have a question? Okay. Other than, I'm not sure what that means. Could I please have a memo? Okay, you can unmute if you'd like to explain that. I don't. Okay.
Am I
Judith?
on?
There you
Hello.
are.
Hi, good
Hello.
morning. Thank you so much. I got late here to the party. I'm so sorry, but I heard you talking about your CRM that you're about to so that's the one I was talking about, your demo.
Oh, the demo. Okay, it says memo. Okay, yeah.
Oh,
You can sign up for the demo. Just go to
got it.
engagemorepro.com. Yeah,
Well,
Engage More Pro. It's up there in the upper right corner, and actually it's a whole, but it lists out everything we've got rolling out. That's all new and fresh. So we already have all of our. I just spent the last 3 months doing onboarding. In fact, I got another one this afternoon for agents that have my old system. They're moving in now. So they're
And
all
this
moved
was,
in. So we're ready to get, we're ready to open the doors. I'm just getting some last minute sign up forms done. That's all. And that's it. But we're ready to
thank you so
rock.
much.
You're
and
welcome. I
those
hope to see
that
you in
came
here.
in late, this has been recorded as well, so you can find it on my YouTube channel of Real Estate Power Zone. So definitely check that out. There's some other Zooms that we've done that's been some great information. Patti, I want to thank you so much for spending some time with us today to start the conversation on CRMs. And yes, it's going to be an ongoing conversation for a while on this, because it is so important, and it can propel so many people's business and what they do, because those who take action on this are definitely going to be more than a step ahead
Yeah.
of those who aren't on that. And we probably all see that in our own lives of who's using CRMs effectively and who's not. So let's make it a point here in this year to really get serious
All
about
right.
it and take care of it. And it's not a huge investment of money at all. It's a very minor. You do one extra a year on there, you've more than paid for it.
Easy.
Not to mention your long-term benefits of it, of being able to make it a more like a rocket ship to, to give you that jump to move into. And no matter whether the market's up or down or whatever, by having this, you have the opportunity to always stay in contact. Because I know personally, last year, and you see this all across, the industry of real estate and lending, everything, volume was down, inventory, very low and everything. You know what? I kept working last year, and now it's like, okay, where do I have time for this? Where do I have time for that? Because the seeds that I planted then,
Correct.
they're coming back now. So it's up and down. You just have to be consistent with it.
Yeah, you do. And I mean, if I can give you my opinion on that, is that I helped a lot of real estate agents through the years with this. And what I noticed is that when people were getting somewhere between 30 to 50 leads a month, by the way, if you get more than that, it's too many. If you get them, that's great, but it's a lot of work. 30 to 50 leads a month over a 3 to 6 months period, your pipeline is going to get so full. So if you get 100 leads this month, say from online, you'll be lucky if you close 1 to 3 of those, honestly, because but you're not, what you're getting this month isn't going to be what you're going to close. You've got to cultivate these things. So you look at the long term of filling up a pipeline. So if leads don't suck in a week, they suck after they tell you to stop. That's when they suck. So what you really want is just being able to stay in front of them consistently with things that they care about, right? And even after they close, I got a whole section in here. What happens? What do you send? At every stage, what do you send? They should be getting something from you entire time, except when you're actually, out showing homes. And then they should be getting listings and things from you. Because they really shouldn't be getting much from you at the time you're actively working with them. But after that, they should. So,
Absolutely. Oh, there's all kinds of tips and everything that can come to mind just as for,
oh
okay,
yeah.
now you're in the home. What now? on
Yeah.
there and give
No,
them
I
great
mean, but it can
information.
easily be set up so it's automated, as you know, so
Absolutely.
anyway, we could go on for hours. I could, if I didn't have
Oh,
other stuff to do.
absolutely, absolutely. Oh no, it's been fun. A lot of great information to start the conversation today. We will continue this. Um, be sure to reach out to myself
Yep.
or Lonnie or to
realestateDripMail.com or
Patty.
engage. Yep.
Yeah,
realestateDripMail.com or dripcampaignsecrets.com if you're looking at the book, and engagemorepro.com. So yeah, we'll see you around, I hope. So thank you so much, Don, for
well,
having me.
thank you again.
We'll talk to you later. Have a great day.